Hi, my name is Serena, and in my last video, I talked about Reynaldo's Kevlar vest and his Glock and his armor-piercing rounds. Um, I was gonna make another video going into more detail about that, and I still am, but it wasn't coming together quite yet. So I was asking my mom what I could make it what she thought would be a good idea to make a video about, and she said, "Oh." She said, "Do you want me to film something?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, that'd be great." So I gave her my camera, and she filmed a great video. And I'm going to post my video and her video back to back, pretty much back to back. But she also brought up, a great topic that I hadn't thought about filming with before, that it just, hadn't crossed my mind. So this is what this video is. So, this is my take on how Reynaldo handles, public, um, not public humiliation, but, public disgrace, I guess you would say. So, just to set the scene, when my parents got divorced, they had bought a family home, in a nice neighborhood with nice schools and stuff like that, what everyone tries to do. Then when they got divorced, Reynaldo took the family home, and me and my mom moved into a mobile home. We moved to a mobile home park. So then, and then after that, so then Reynaldo had the family home, and then he sold the family home and moved into a condo that I never went to. And then he moved into a second condo that I did go to, and that's where I found the papers in his closet. That's where I found documents in his closet, and did, copious amounts of stuff there. And that's where he left me home alone. And then after he moved from there, he moved to the house that he lives in now, which was the, I think it's a 1.5 fixer in a gated community. I'll post a photo later on, and the price of what he actually paid for it on the screen, now and probably later on. But all that being said, rewind back to the family home. So one of the weekends I had gone over there, and they weren't consistent weekends, but one of the weekends I had gone over there, I wanted, as any, kid would, I wanted to play. So Reynaldo was off doing something else, whatever he was doing, and I had previously made friends with the girl catty corner to the house, so across the street catty corner, and they were the Bartmans. The Bartmans had two kids. They had Hannah, who's about a year or two older than me, and Jacob, who's about a year or two older than Hannah. So it was I want to say it was 6, 8, and 10 type of thing. But Hannah and Jacob came over. It being a hot day in Southern California, we were playing inside, and Reynaldo was off doing whatever he was doing. He wasn't watching us. And also, it being that, we were playing inside, Jacob was getting energetic. And being an energetic, active 9, 10-year-old boy, he was figuring out his own thing to do. So the couches were set up facing each other, and then behind the couch was a coffee table. He had taken to running around and jumping over the couch and over the coffee table, in a parkour style, before parkour was a thing. And he had done that a couple times. And then at one point he did it, and he completely missed. And he landed straight through the coffee table. Now the coffee table, which I'll post a reference photo so people can kind of get a general idea of what it looks like. This isn't the exact coffee table, but it's a general idea. But it was a wooden coffee table with a glass with a glass inlay on top and a glass inlay in the middle for a shelf. But he ran over the couch, missed completely, and landed through the table. His feet were bleeding. We could easily see that. He landed through 2 panes of glass. And he was dazed, so he just stood there for a minute. Hannah was dazed, and I was dazed. So we all just stood there for quite a bit. And then all of a sudden Jacob just like let out a scream and bolted out the front door. And so then like me and Hannah, I guess like I don't know, like we looked at each other, like I remember looking at her, and then like all of a sudden she just turned and bolted out the front door with him. Like after him. One, I think like she was just hoping not to get into trouble. Not totally sure. They were supposed to go home together. That was like the family rule was we'll walk you both over when you guys are done playing or after dinner. You guys can walk yourself back. That type of thing. So I think there was a part of her that didn't want to get in trouble. I'm not totally sure. But short story is between like hearing a smashing sound of glass and a child screaming, Reynaldo had come out from wherever he was, and he walked over to the glass table, and he to this like smashed glass coffee table, and was like, "Oh." He's like, "Where's Hannah and Jacob?" And I said they ran home, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And then he just like was gonna go like walk and get a broom or do something about it, and as he was doing that, there was a knock at the door, and it was apartments. It was apartments. And not just Hannah and Jacob, but the Bartman parents who had come back. And he's like, he looked at the door and he's like, I guess he like must have looked through the peephole or something. I'm not totally sure, but somehow he figured out that it was the Bartmans standing at the front door. And he's like, I have a migraine. I have to go lay down. So then he went back down the hall to lay down. And then he's like, Serena, get the door. And I was like, okay, I'll get the door, I guess. So I went over and I opened the door and I'm like, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Bartman. And they're like, hi, where's your dad? And I'm like, he says he has a migraine and he has to lay down and he can't talk right now. And she's like, oh. She's like, okay, Serena, go outside and wait on the grass with Hannah and Jacob and Mr. Bartman. And I was like, okay. So I went outside and I waited on the front lawn while she went inside the house, and educated guess tells me that she ripped Reynaldo a new one. But I have no idea what was actually said. I have completely no idea what was actually said. So after she came out, the Bartmans left, and I went back inside the house, and then like the rest of the day just proceeded with whatever. But shortly after that, or like pretty shortly after, like, and then like also I should say, I never saw the Bartmans again. I never played with Hannah and Jacob again. I was never invited over to their house. They never came back over to the family home. And then shortly after that, pretty sure, Reynaldo sold the family house and moved to Pasadena. And then so he moved to the first condo in Pasadena that I never went to. And then shortly after that, he moved to the condo in Pasadena that I did go to. And that's where he left me home alone. And that's where public, criticisms also play into it too. So that, because I was going over to the neighbor's house, I was doing stuff to his house. People had noticed that he was not there or participating or something like that. So that he sold his condo and moved to the house in Chino that I was never invited to. And yeah, so I just wanted to make a video about that. It is, my mom said in her video, and I'll say it in mine too, I am going to try to contact the Bartmans. I don't fully know how it will go. In fact, I have no idea how it will go. But I'm going to send them a postcard and see what they say. And see if they remember anything about that day. Or anything different. And, just see what they can add to, see what they remember. And all that good stuff. Okay, thank you.